Hey there, and thanks for tuning into another mini cycle syncing training. My name is Purita. I'm a yoga teacher turned into a menstrual cycle coach, and I'm based in Brisbane, Australia. In today's video, we'll talk more about stress and how stress can affect our menstrual cycle and why it's beneficial to reduce stress as much as we can. And I'll give you 3 simple tips on how to reduce stress in your everyday life. So the first thing that I want to say about how stress can affect your menstrual cycle is if in the follicular phase, so the first part of your cycle, if you experience stress then, or lots of stress, so if your body is kind of like constantly fighting stress, your ovulation can easily be delayed. And obviously, if you're someone who's trying to conceive, that might make things a little bit more difficult if you don't ovulate at the time when you were expecting yourself to ovulate. And then a delayed ovulation results in delayed period. And if our period is late, we're usually just thinking that our period is late, that the period is just not starting, but we forget that period is late most likely because of a delayed ovulation. And a second thing that I want to say about how stress can affect or what stress has to do with the menstrual cycle is that in the luteal phase, so the second part of the cycle after ovulation, our estrogen levels start to go down and ideally our progesterone levels start to increase. And estrogen is an interesting hormone because it helps our body to produce more feel-good hormones, happiness hormones such as serotonin. And when we have more happiness hormones in our body, it's easier for us to cope with stress. But in the luteal phase, when the estrogen levels go down, it becomes more difficult to cope with stress, in which case we might experience PMS and symptoms like that more easily. And obviously then progesterone, the nice and caring and nurturing hormone, would step in. But an interesting thing about progesterone is that it's a precursor to cortisol. So if we do have stress in our lives, our body will prioritize fighting those stressors, so producing more cortisol over progesterone. So that's why we want to be mindful about stress in the luteal phase of the cycle. So how can we reduce stress in our everyday lives? And I think the most important thing when it comes to fighting stress is really becoming aware of what causes stress in your life. And obviously, when we talk about stress, I think that many of us would only think about mental stress, for example, a challenging job, very busy lifestyle, and so on. Which for me, for example, that is one of the biggest stressors in my life, running my own business and doing this and that, and always having something in the back of my mind that I need to do. But there are also other stressors that can create that stress reaction in the body, and those are, for example, not eating enough, not eating regular meals, or having a poor diet with lots of fast food and things that our body doesn't really like or wouldn't naturally be able to digest that well. And other things are, for example, toxins. So for example, if we use lots of high toxin products like makeup, skincare, and so on. And then exercising. So if we exercise very excessively, for example, go for really long runs without having those recovery days, or do really hard sessions at the gym, or do yoga constantly all day every day without having that recovery, without eating enough and a really nutritious diet and so on, that will be a stressor on our body. So I just wanted to say that so that you know that stress is not only that mental stress that we can experience. So I'll just give you 3 easy tips on how you can be mindful about stress and try to actively reduce stress throughout the cycle so that you hopefully would not experience these cycle-related issues that we just talked about in the beginning. The first tip is eating enough and eating regularly. So you want to give your body regular fuel, so regular nutrients to keep your body safe, keep your body energized, and keep your body going, so to say. So if you, for example, all of a sudden just stopped eating, that would be a stressor onto your body, because your body would be like, oh my god, now I need to keep you alive, so I need to hold on to all these nutrients that I already have. So basically your body goes to this fear mode, being in all like panic and just thinking that, okay, our first thing to do right now is keep ourselves alive. The second tip is getting enough sleep. And obviously that's something that we always talk about everywhere. You always hear that you should get that 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day. Obviously that can be a little bit different for everyone, and some of us are, for example, night owls, and some of us are morning people. For example, I'm definitely someone who just loves to go to sleep as early as possible, and then I rather wake up early. But just, for example, in the evenings when you're preparing for bed, you've probably heard this a million times before, but just put your phone away, turn that TV off, and try to stay away from artificial light like green and blue light. And for example, burn candles, surround yourself with candlelight, salt lamps, and so on. Try to get sunlight during the day so that when it gets dark in the evening, your body can produce more melatonin, which will help you have a restful sleep. And the third tip that I have is meditating and doing yoga. Surprise, surprise! I can never stop addressing enough how important it is to have that mental space through meditation, and how that can really improve our well-being. And even just like 10 minutes a day, being, for example, mindful meditation where you basically just follow your breath in and out, can really help you to refocus, increase your productivity, and just switch from that stress response to relaxation response. And yoga is an amazing tool for the same purpose, to help your mind calm down and help you go from that really stressful, busy mind to more that relaxation state. And yoga is also a really great way to release stress in the body. So very often our mental or emotional stress is manifested as physical stress, with tension in different areas of our body and so on. So when we do yoga on the mat, the different asanas, that actually helps our body to fight stress. So those are my 3 tips for reducing stress in your life. And what I want you to take away from this video is the fact that you want to be mindful about stress every day, and not just, for example, before your period, and not just when your PMS hits. You want to, honor yourself every day of the cycle, take care of yourself, and prioritize your self-care. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about cycle awareness and cycle syncing, then head to the link below and get my free Ultimate Cycle Awareness Guide that will talk you through the hormonal and energetic phases of your menstrual cycle. It will also have a lot of tips for stress reduction and how to sync your life with your unique cycle. Thank you so much for watching another mini cycle syncing training. I'll see you next week. Bye bye.